Secretary Borje, Robert, welcome. Varad, to you first, if it's okay. Just talk to me, if you would, about adaptation and resilience and why it's so critical in Southeast Asia.
Sure. Even as we chase the 1.5-degree target, it's very clear that the impact of extreme weather events and temperature rise is now here to stay. And Southeast Asia is particularly vulnerable. Some of the data that we see says that 1/3 of GDP of the region is at risk, and about half the population of the region is at risk. Not to forget the 4,000 species which are unique in the region, which are also highly vulnerable. So the time to act on adaptation and resilience is now, even as we continue to work on the mitigation goals.
Robert, talk to me about the situation in the Philippines when it comes to adaptation and resilience, the biggest challenges, the ambitions that you have.
That's a very good question. For the Philippines, both adaptation and resilience are objects and instruments of policy. This is because we sit on the typhoon belt and we're also in the Pacific Ring of Fire. So immediately our geography provides us with these handicaps, so to speak, towards development. And we do want to progress as a country. But again, the loss and damage have been very difficult for us. In the last 10 years, our loss and damage has been about $12.1 billion. And that's equal to about twice the education budget for the Philippines. And you know how it is. It's a zero-sum game when you talk about resources. So we have loss and damage on the one hand because of climate change, but we have limited resources that we're taking away from other departments. So it's key that we build adaptation and resiliency from both the national level as well as in the local government level. And for us, it's really a priority because it's what we need to do to ensure that our losses and damages are not only minimized, but we ensure that our economy and our people continue to grow. And it's a growth and development that's really aimed towards prosperity and human security. So these two are critically important for the Philippines.
Well, looking at it from a national level, can you talk to me through your national adaptation plan?
The National Adaptation Plan is a product of interagency work and a whole of society approach. So it's not only the Philippine government that's been part of the process, but we've included other key stakeholders of our society because that's what we need to do. But what's also important is that this is a science-driven and a data-driven document. And we would say it's a living document because it simply starts the process that we have. It identifies key areas of action at the national level so that our different government agencies will be able to come up with programs and policies and measures to effectively implement these. And we are going to partner with our LGUs to make sure that our local government units who are really at the front line of the work when it comes to climate change adaptation and resiliency need all the support they can get. And I think what's also important is that it does not only address the need for a strong continuum from national to local government, but it also provides the opportunity for international partners to be so engaged because the approach that we have is that climate change, the challenges that they poses along with the solutions will have to be global and systemic in its approach as well. So it's a very good foundational document and it provides us with a solid plan to get us through from point A to point B, what we call from point of fragility to point of agility.
Varad, is there anything to add from a regional or global context, lessons for other countries perhaps?
Yeah, sure. And I'll pick up where Secretary Borje left. I think in our experience, 3 things are important to get right. The first is using science, data, and advanced analytics to make better predictions about where we are headed. The second is to make adaptation people-centric, and as the Secretary was saying, Philippines has really taken that path. And the third is just to make sure that it is actionable and practical in terms of what comes out of it, so we can go from plan to implementation to safeguard lives and livelihoods that we seek to do.
For us, it's critical again because for the Philippines, these are not just concepts or plans. What's important more important than just the plans are the outputs and the outcomes that we want. And for my country and for my President Ferdinand Romualdez Marcos Jr., it's important that we get this into perspective. For the Philippines, it's lives and livelihood and our future that's at stake, and therefore this foundational document is key. to make sure that we have not just a clear path, but the clear and measurable outcomes and outputs that we will later on revisit to make sure that the plan is working and working well for our people. And I just wanted to say that it's equally important for us to make sure that the plan, and it's inclusive, it's reflective of the desires and aspirations of our entire society, and it gives us, again, the lodestar for the work that needs to be done so that we become a climate smart, climate resilient, and low carbon economy for the future.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.